Perfect. Okay. And in that case, under the careful guidance of Rakote, you are driven towards the shore and are given even just a moment's respite as you realize that there is a large kind of mountain between you and the Dawn Machine, kind of casting you in a long shadow and protecting you from the eye of it.
I would like to uh, roll. I'd ideally like to investigate, to do a medical investigation of this thing,
Yeah.
um, to determine the best way to cut out his eye. So I guess I want to investigate to unveil the a aspect regarding its physicality.
Okay. Challenge of one. The thing's dead. You have it in your hands, and you're a capable sailor. Yeah, no
Dope.
fucking problem. Yeah. Everything about this creature is apparent to you.
This is because Crow is very familiar with the seas, so he quickly just sits down like a kid on the spectrum with a special project and begins carving away the thing's eyes in full view of everybody. And
Just shut.
with
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
with a carving knife, um, removes its eyes at the stalks, but quickly also gets rid of whatever meat is inside. And I would like to apply this to a crafts roll because I would like to make myself a pair of spectacles that filter the light well, as this thing most assuredly has evolved to do living in this area.
Okay. Yeah, I like that a lot. Let's set the craft challenge at a 2. All right. Yeah. So 1 for your vocation, but then you will, of course, still have the item with you that you can pump up with fate points.
Crow bends some. He does a lot of fixing with bendable wire, and when he lifts his head, it is Crow, but with two big circular dark spectacles covering his eyes.
The camera lifts, and the pale lady is sitting next to Fisher and also enjoying some of the haul, much like she did the rats while she's watching you work on your project.
Perfect. Rakote, the people from kind of above board, your crewmates, kind of look down towards you, and one of them says, "Sir, we're only 10 minutes out. Dock looks empty."
Um, he is going to call for if Rostovan's not already there. He's going to call for him.
Yeah, he'll finish the mark upon the empty bladder and set it around his waist and head over.
And as you do, Rakote will turn to regard you, holding his ribs with a calloused hand. And he'll say, "We are minutes out from landfall. Is there any reason we should not be docking out in the open in the Dawn Machine?"
Uh, what do you think, Kane?
This is more of a context, honestly. A lore challenge of like 2, contacts of 1.
All right, I'll lower it.
Okay. From what you recall of this island, it's really unremarkable except for the Dawn Machine itself. What little kind
Yeah.
of properties have spawned up alongside of it seem more so like a use for land. If you have all this space available, they tend to make the most of it.
Yeah.
So a place like Morton, which you know that you'll be pulling into, is honestly a fairly small thing. They would usually only probably have smaller fishing vessels. If you're really trying to settle into kind of the larger space, you'd look for Roan, which is further south.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll just say, no, none that I can recall would I've heard of this place.
And he'll say, "And no enemies wait for you here."
Uh, Not here. Not at the dock.
Uh,
That's pretty much precisely what he was asking. Like, are we going to get like attacked by Indiana Jones blow darts the second that we tie in? He's not going to prod you too much for whatever it is your personal business. So he will then turn to the first mate and he'll say,
Go ahead and have the men moor the ship.
Course, Captain. And you will see in quick succession everyone kind of drawn to their stations, all in the effort to bring you to Morton, which, though kind of high above in the Eagle's Nest, it seems like they'd be able to get an eye on things. Down here on the kind of the deck of the ship, it's completely obfuscated by smoke. And the closer you get, the more you realize that it is steam rising off of the water that you're pulling into. But eventually, after a bit of work, you feel your ship kind of tied off, and you see men dart kind of onto the land and onto your ship and tie, and you feel the ship come to a rest.
in the 10 minutes before we start securing, I do want to waddle over to the Pale Lady and see if she can't start helping me out with some of these consequences.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna wash my hands before I start.
Why
And they're
not?
covered in
Quick
butter.
wipe on the jeans.
Okay.
What do I need to hit for you?
I've got a mild and I've got a moderate. So whatever you got, I'll take.
That's what you get.
Okay, moderate, not bad.
All right, so that'll be mending.
Yep, that'll be mending.
She'll give you some of the juice from the fish, having pulverized. Well, no, she gave it all to Rosvan. Never mind. She's just got her own salve that she'll offer to you to start alleviating some of the wounds. And it kind of tingles and burns in an uncomfortable way, but then it immediately feels like the skin is tighter.
You just got Botoxed.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's kind of itchy.
unfortunately, that does pop a few more pustules, and
Oh no.
Pale Lady is injured by that, so we were just kind of adding,
Yeah,
throwing
you
damage.
do
with
have
them.
to roll. You have to roll a physique now.
As you are tending to Rakote, Fisher will look up at you with his kind of bulbous eyes, and then he will sniff into the kind of air, and then he will turn and immediately begin running towards the gangplank, which he will then ride off into the smoke.
Rostovan's going to turn to everybody. Actually, I guess we should probably handle that first. Now that if he's running
You see
away.
him running currently. I would say that he like seems set on getting off the ship.
Okay, Rostovan was going to say something to everybody, but then he stops as Fisher runs away.
The Pale Lady watches apathetically at first, forgetting that she has vouched to be the guardian for this creature. And then she'll literally
Stop. Don't let him get away.
say, Crow throws a spear, just impales him.
You see 12 fishers emerge from the shoreline.
Oh shit!
Oh, go ahead.
She I guess I'll move after him. I'll go.
All right. He has athletics of 2, so you're currently matching him as you run forward. You, Rakote, everyone else can see the Pale Lady slip into the fog as easily as Fisher does.
All right. Rostovan's going to turn to whoever's here. And he's going to say, all right, listen up. Hey,
Don't.
listen to me! Everyone just keeps talking.
They're doing the Mario All Stars.
No, none of the crew members are doing anything on the ship. They're literally just standing on the deck, arms at their sides, talking to each other as loudly as possible. He's going to call everybody. He's going to say, mainly just to Rakote and Crow, he's going to say, if anyone tries to stop us up at the Dawn Machine, we're gonna kill them.
First Crow nods, but then he says, "What be ye purpose?"
He's going to point up towards where the light crests past the mountain that's shielding them, and goes back to its spin, and he's going to say, "That light. It's not right, and I'm going to be fixing it."
He just pulls his list out of his pocket and looks at it briefly, puts it away, and then stands there, tapping his toe.
Big light, it says. If anyone tries to stop us, oh, they're not going to stop us. Are we good with that?
Kane, what do we know about the lawbringers in this area?
Yeah. Contacts challenge of 2.
Sorry, my Roll20 just does not want to open my sheet. Contacts challenge of 2. Yeah.
Most areas underneath the monarchy operate using the gold shirts, so it would be safe to assume that there is at least a small battalion of gold shirts here, just to keep the peace. But nothing as formidable as the other places you've been to, and unless you're causing trouble, they probably wouldn't know to look at you.
Okay. Knowing then that we're not going to be dealing with quite the scale that we were on the other island, Rakote will say, yeah, honestly, I don't really have like a big dialogue prepared. He'll just nod at that.
Kane, you can have me roll for this if you want me to.
Yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say that Rostovan's hunch is that the Dawn machine is malfunctioning as well.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you at least know that.
Okay. Yeah, he'll relay that. He'll say, and this thing is looking even worse for wear. There's no reason for it to be doing what it's been doing to us ever since we've entered these waters and to this island, as I look over to see smoke rising in the distance.
Perfect. As you all are kind of conferring and making your decisions of how to move forward, Rakote, out of the corner of your eye, there will be a very diminutive man who continues to wait as you are all speaking. Even after there is a minute of silence, he does not seem to approach you. He's kind of keeping his eyes downcast.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll strike up conversation with him. I walk over and put my elbow on top of his head.
And when you turn to see him, you see that is your chief engineer, Francis Hatter.
Oh, it's Hatter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not realizing that you've even seen him yet, he will continue looking at the ground and only recognize it when you're already very close.
Yeah, Rakote will do him the favor of starting the conversation and say,
So, what'll it be, Mr. Hatter?
Trouble, sir. Sorry, that's always the case when we talk.
What sort of trouble?
Boat troubles. The Anaphilie can't float in boiling water. I'd only think we'd have a few days before she sinks.
he will turn to you, Rostovan, and say,
Rastavan, by your honest estimation, how long will it take to address your business here?
How long is
2
this
days.
journey?
Maybe
2
2
days.
days. Yeah, 2 to 3.
He'll say around 2 days to get there and finish it up.
so that's within the time.
I'll say for mechanics reasons, you guys succeeded. If you had not gotten rid of the creature, it would have been a much tighter timeline.
Okay.
But you kind of did a good job, so not much to
yeah.
worry about.
Rakote will turn to Hatter, though, and say,
I imagine I may not be much assistance to the men if there's fighting involved, nor do I know very much about repairing whatever it is that machine does. I'm assuming some sort of giant lighthouse. That said, I will go into town and see if they don't have some supplies that might help us stem the.
He'll kind of gesture at the boiling water and say,
Tides we find ourselves in.
A pump, sir, maybe something that could handle the hot water.
A pump.
And an
Yes.
Xbox 360.
Uh,
I have an idea for it, but we don't have the supplies on board.
very well. A pump.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, sir. And he will just kind of nod.
yeah, he'll sort of dismiss him, and
Yeah.
I will start
I-
departing.
I grab Hatter and force him to his knees to supplicate before Rakote.
He
As
says,
his
"I
disposition.
deserve this. I deserve this, sir. I should tell you something good. You did a good job. I'm sorry, that was terrible.
Yeah, read that apology script from Severance.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, fuck,
My
right? Yeah, Jesus
Fault
Christ.
is my own.
Yep. The sin will live within me.
Yeah.
As you all are kind of conferring, the Pale Lady, you are keeping up with Fisher, who seems to be just on the precipice of disappearing out of your eye line. You just kind of charge further and further into the smoke. And as you do, you see kind of large figures looming on either side of you. And if you narrow your eyes, you realize that it is more prawn. But they
People.
do not seem immediately concerned with you. They're just kind of lounging on the rocks of the shore, occasionally tuning their antenna or their eye stalks in your direction.
I ate your brother.
I ate yours, so what?
Oh,
And Fisher just kind of continues moving forward, and you see he gets incredibly close to a few of these and just kind of sniffs them.
he's considering whether he takes them home with him. I will roll a stealth roll just in case.
Challenge of 1.
Great.
You keep your distance, but it's hard to get a sense of what exactly Fisher's doing. He just keeps passing.
Yeah, she's just kind of ambiently trying to blend in with the heat smoke. She's following Fisher and trying to figure out where his little dog brain is taking him.
Yeah, and I think there'll be a pretty easy transition here as he eventually just kind of, to your estimation, sees about every single prawn on this fucking shore, and eventually just looks left, looks right, plants his butt on the ground, and lets out a big howl, which for him is more of a pip, for being honest, which kind of echoes onto the shore and gives the rest of you a sense of where to look.
I'm going to empathy him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a 0, you have a 0. You're two unknowable creatures.
She just stands beside him.
He seems to be calling out. That's all you get.
She'll, looking around the strange surroundings with lounging prawn and the dog kind of, I'll say bellowing, but not really, across the sea. She'll just say, "Are you looking for someone?"
Look up at you. Kind of howl again, a little bit quieter, and then just
Like a
eventually
phantom
decide
from the
not
night, Crow will emerge from the mist. Eyes first.
Yeah.
And I realized that there was a stat mess up on my part. I started this game with drive on my sheet. So instead, I'm growing Crow as a person. Just kidding. I need to be able to interrogate liars, so he's going to roll empathy on the dog to figure out why it's delaying us.
to. Okay.
I mean, I'm going to get a -1 now.
Nope.
I fucking knew it. I knew it was gonna be the big one. All right. You know what it is to hunt, and you know what it is like to be disappointed when you don't find what you're looking for. That is what this creature seems to be kind of communicating. It was looking for something, maybe someone, and it did not find them here.
It's the big boy. tall boy we left back in
Yeah, right.
The beast seeks a pack member with which it has an affinity.
Oh. I wonder where it would find it. This seems like a strange place.
Crow
Surrounded
grabs
by boiling
Fisher.
water.
What
Crow
do you
grabs
do?
Fisher by the scruff and starts walking the other way, his obvious retort to relative interest in this scenario.
Yeah, you can put Fisher wherever you want. Where do you want him?
I'm just going to keep him. It's
Okay.
going to... He is going to take a rope from his gear, put it as like a lead around Fisher, and then hand the other end to the pale lady and say, "Thou art meant to control, not follow the whims of a dumb beast."
We do not know where his whims will lead him.
Nay,
Perhaps it is important.
nay.
She'll look down at Fisher with some sort of understanding of the creature's wants, and she will start walking in the other direction with this little lead.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, at this point, all of you can be off the ship if that is your wish. There's kind of a crooked path that leads up away from the shore, maybe 100 feet up towards what you know to be Morton, the first town. Okay, perfect. In that case, kind of who's leading here?
I'll lead.
Perfect.
No, I'll
I'll lead.
I think Fisher's leading.
Fisher's leading, yeah. He's dragging the pale lady.
Fisher is wearing a lead. You guys got to figure this stuff out.
I'm throwing the rocks at him the whole time.
I'm
They're
gonna
always
throw
missing.
rocks at your dog.
Gonna throw rocks at your Fisher. As long as you're leading.
Rastavan, you will kind of move forward and up. And as you get away from the water, you realize that there's a little bit less fog for you to contend with. And when you look down on Morton, you see a town that half of it seems perfectly fine. The other half is burnt to cinders. Entire lines of crops have been rent. Buildings made out of wood have burnt down to their foundation. And it seems like anything that is not covered by the grace of these mountains has been obliterated in the heat. Even the grass kind of forming a black line that leads off for miles towards the Dawn Machine.
Are there any residents?
Yeah, it's not interesting for you to roll notice and not see anybody. Looking down, you see quite a few people have set up kind of shacks and lean-to housing to replace the ones here.
The mayor is actively on fire.
Yeah.
Only half of him is. He's like Two-Face. Part of him is standing in the line, part of him is not. He's always there.
I cannot tell you how many fucked up, burned people that kind of Two-Facey. Let's just get this out now. There's gonna be some Two-Faces here. There's gonna be quite a few Two-Faces.
I'm loving the Two-Faces.
Ma'am, can I buy a rain shawl from you? Let me see. Flips a coin. No.
Let me see.
Don't put that back in your pocket. That's your lucky quarter.
That's your lucky quarter.
Which it is.
Yeah, that's how the scene. Don't put that back in your pocket. It's your lucky quarter, which it is. And then he leaves.
Yeah, that's how it went.
That's how
And
the
then you
scene
can
goes.
see 20 more people lined up to do the same reading.
Could you imagine that scene if there were people behind him?
Yeah, Anton Chigurh wouldn't have the fucking balls to try it.
No. Oh my god, that entire scene is ruined if there's one guy behind him with a bud in his hand waiting to buy that six-pack.
Yeah.
Just stepping on his tiptoes, trying to look over.
I need to know what I'm offering. Hey, bud, are you like... What are we doing here?
You down here or what?
Just 1 second, sir.
I'm gonna catch a game. Come on now.
Sir, I'm gonna pay for these. I'm just gonna open them. I'm starving. I'm
Oh,
famished.
that's
I'm
his
gonna
lucky
pay
quarter,
them.
no!
Anyway.
But yes, there are people down below.
I want to find somebody near just the closest person.
Yeah,
I wanna
I'm gonna I'm gonna make this the important person here because that is how story works.
Birdie.
You walk into town square, and there's a guy rolling around on the ground screaming on fire, and then the clock strikes 5. He looks up and it gets up and clocks out for the day and goes to the shady side of town.
Why did you do it?
There will be a kind of old gentleman with wispy hair that's pulled to one side, and as you get closer, you'll hear him talking to a few people, saying, "They came from the docks. They came. Everyone, just stay calm, stay quiet. I'll see if we can get some help here." And he will start kind of turning towards you all, kind of closing the distance a bit before waving and saying, "Hey there.
Hello, friend.
How, might I ask, did you come here?"
He's gonna turn around. On the ship.
You still got it?
He's going to turn around again.
Don't tell him that!
Still there, I think.
Oh, they're gonna steal it.
You need to get as far away from here as possible. I'd ask that you take a few of us along with you. We can pay for travel if that's needed.
We'll see about that.
Ricote howls like a wolf and pats his foot against the ground a bunch. He's very excited at the notion of them paying for travel.
Shh, girl, shush. Put her blinders on.
Yeah, sure. So, how long has this thing been, he's going to gesture to the burned ground.
He will kind of look up and say, "I really wish I could tell you. Haven't seen the moon in a while."
Oh, give me an estimate. Is it months? Weeks?
Days. They felt like months. He'll just kind of like look back at the village that's completely destroyed.
Oh, I bet. Right. Has anyone been up to it or come back from it?
He will just kind of nod, and swallow dryly, and say, "There's another town up the road. Roan. It's built out of stone. It's still holding up all right. There's some people up there with injured. But they can't move quick enough. The eye's going to roast them."
What about the machine itself? Any indication of what caused it?
He will just kind of frown a bit and say, "I can tell you who caused it. Samantha
Go on.
Strathmore."
Does that ring a bell?
It's so specific. I'm just gonna say like context challenge of like 6. It is like there's no reason anyone would know this person.
Okay.
God damn it.
Yeah, like I'm sorry to make it so
That's-
obtuse, but it's like
that's
there's
fine.
no. It's like, hey, do you know Big-Eyed Pete?
Yeah, if you don't know it, you don't know it.
Yeah.
I like,
If you-
I like how it looks like it's like it's a real long shot with the context, and you see Ricote in gym shoes skeeting out onto the court doing a free throw, and then it cuts out to a wide shot, and the basket is like 400 feet farther than a normal court.
No, he's playing fucking hockey. It's not even the right sport.
yeah, he's on a football field.
I mean, although with 2 fate, I don't know if this matters. I don't think knowing. Well, maybe knowing this person would matter. This is an important clue. Ricote, you got 2 fate points on you.
I've got 1.
Rostavan, do you have a fate point to help him? Given your experience with this going
I
on?
do, but I don't think that my fate point's going to help in a context. Doesn't have to help in that regard.
Yeah, if you
Pale
can come up
lady,
with
you got
something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do have the fate
I'm
points,
old.
but, I don't know.
It's all good. It's all good. If we don't know him, we don't know him.
We've already forgotten
Yeah.
what gender she is.
I said like
Oh,
EM.
Okay.
He will
Gender she
just
is.
I hate
Kind
you
of-
Rochester people.
Fair with that accent.
and he will just say, "I'd like to throttle her myself, but I think she's the only way out of this. If she's still alive, that is."
Who's she? What's she do?
We would know if you had done the favor.
She will just kind of smile weakly and say, well, she was the one keeping charge of the machine. She wasn't causing trouble. But then she got a fancy idea to make the thing last longer than it should have.
Oh, really?
Against my better judgment, I'll tell you. He'll say, kind of starting to lead you back towards town. He's a very old man, and you can tell that despite kind of trying to hold himself up high, the effort is weighing on him.
Rest will say, is there anyone who's traveled to the other town to Roan from here? And if so, how have they done it without being, scorched?
Burnt. Yeah, he will just say, it's not easy. But there was one boy, Chase. He arrived a few days ago, told us about the situation in Roan. He might be able to give you a better sense of things.
And where's Chase now?
Come on. He'll lead you towards one of the kind of huts that have been set up.
Yeah, he's an NPC who walks he walks faster than walking speed, but slower than running speed, so we have to keep constantly stopping and going.
Yeah, right. You try pushing his NPC model with your own just to get him moving faster.
Yeah.
And when he does, he leads you into a hut that seems to be taking care of quite a few people. All of them with kind of minor burns, and kind of in the center of the room is one boy you assume to be Chase. Roughly 15, kind of like a mop of red hair on his head.
Could he be older than 16?
Yeah, fine. He can be 16.
Couldn't be, though.
Couldn't be.
Yeah, it couldn't be, right?
Not a day older than.
He'll kind of look up and say, who are they? They're new. And he'll just kind of say, aren't many new people. No, there aren't. Which is why you're going to be nice. And say, this is Chase. He'll give a little
kid.
wave. Hey.
We want to fix whatever's going on with your lighthouse, so could appreciate any info you've got in terms of how you got here from Roan.
You think you can fix it?
Yeah.
He'll just kind of give you an empathy of 0, trying to understand, like, what's your deal?
Okay.
You two stand unknowingly at each other.
Stare at each other.
He will just kind of nod slowly and say, mountains. You try going up the clearing, it's going to get you. Mountains give you a few rocks, places to hide.
All right. So, I'm guessing you must have taken the long way then.
Yeah. Did me pretty good, and he'll kind of hold his left hand up, and you'll see that it's fairly burnt, kind of bubbly and blistered, he will say. Doesn't mean it's easy.
Yeah.
At this, Crow is going to walk out of the room, and I would like to find a place that sells what could approximate like mountaineering tools, anything to make the process easier.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
try to create advantage.
Yeah, investigate challenge of 2.
Piss.
What I will tell you is
This
that
sucks.
you ask around. These tools definitely exist. Unfortunately, the hut that they exist in is being occupied by a number of prawn.
Crow happily picks up his spear and has a side quest.
As we're in this hut, I also want to do. I just want to
Yeah.
have the pale lady's looking around at injured, and she'd probably just start treating people while this conversation is happening.
Yeah, that can create like a rapport advantage or something.
Yeah, yeah, I can.
Challenge of okay, yeah, success. Um, the wounds here are not as major as you expect them to be in Roan. It's mostly kind of surface burns and a few blind eyes, but you're able to address them best you can.
Yeah, she can't necessarily give them new eyeballs, but she's able to spread out the salve that she has amongst the wounded and gives surprising new life to some of the worst burns that she's able to treat while Rostavan is having this conversation, just sort of idle in the background. Everyone doesn't really know what to do with this weird fish lady walking around, but after she's treated the first person, they sort of let her do her thing.
There'll be kind of an older woman who will look at you a bit slack-jawed and just say, "You're the woman, aren't you? The lady.
Yes,
There are people that need you." You
she'll
know,
turn an
yeah.
eye curiously.
She'll just say, "It's worse down south near Roan." And she'll just kind of lean forward again and say, "There's a lady named Margaret, midwife. She's doing the best she can. Ain't good enough."
I will find her then and assist.
I pray that you do. She'll just kind of nod.
You do not need to pray. We will be there before, I guess he said like 2 days, so
Yeah, probably a day up to Roan and then a day up to the Dawn Machine.
we will be there before sunrise. I'm sure of it. They are quite resourceful.
Yeah, and kind of speaking to that, Crow's going off on his side quest. What is everyone else doing?
I'm still
I want
talking
to.
as good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna look for a place to see if I can't buy a pump.
Yeah. You can look around. I'm gonna give you. This kind of leads all directions point the same way as Grant kind of takes your request and says, "You're looking for the storehouse."
Uh, yes, I am.
And he'll continue and say, "Bit of trouble with that. The prawn, they're being boiled alive. They escaped to the rocks, overtook the stockhouse. We just let them have it."
Say,
Fortuitous then that we've docked in your port. We can extinguish these prawn,
and he'll look around and he'll say,
which might benefit your people if they're quite hungry, given the circumstances. I imagine drought has been quite a problem for you.
He will kind of nod, his lips parched and dry, and he will say, "What crops we had went up in flames. Not much left."
he's gonna say, and I want to. I don't know where this is gonna come in handy. I want to try to create a rapport advantage with him.
Okay.
And by that, it's going to be sort of looking out over what they might have and trying to offer a helpful suggestion.
Yeah. Challenger one. You guys have been pretty forthright.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. He will be kind of nodding and say, "You want to do some good, do some real help. You'll take those that you can and get out of here. Maybe your friend there can stay behind, fix the light."
Um, he'll say,
Uh, once I've maintained, well, once I can guarantee that the ship continues to take on water, I can evaluate how many spaces we have on our vessel. But he'll go on to say, our work is dangerous. I would hate to bring your people from one bad situation to another.
It's all been bad, I'll say. Hard to imagine a difference.
yeah, he'll let that let that somber note be the end, given that he did not succeed his rapport.
Yeah. Okay. Um, in that case, Crow, kind of stalking your way along the cliff face, you eventually are able to find this storeroom that they're speaking of a bit closer to the water, and what appears to be about a dozen prawn, just kind of like taking up residence. Some of them having basically kind of knocked in the windows, and the door is off its hinge. And inside you can just kind of hear the sounds of them moving about.
Okay.
And what I'm hoping to do, I'm not looking to devolve into a 12-person combat. I just want to hear kind of like what your approach would be, and we'll kind of figure this out with a few rolls.
Um, am I able to, have I noticed that the lighthouse, is it just consistently burning everything in a line, or does it have
Um,
rotations where
yeah,
a sun-like blaze comes through the valley?
yeah, it rotates, but unfortunately, like kind of in your position right now, marketed by the greener grass, the light doesn't seem to shine in that direction. The mountains kind of protect that from happening or prevent that from happening, unless you were to roll notice, and I think that could like kick us off and say there could be some light. Otherwise, they are currently hidden by the shadow of the mountains.
Okay.
It does rotate, though, just to give everyone that thing. That's kind of what allows you to time your escapes and your runs, is that every 3 minutes this light rotates.
Um, instead, I would like Crow. I'm gonna have to set up a series of things. I want to know the overall challenge of um, using his various hooks and ropes materials. The challenge on a crafts that would allow him to create a sort of trap corral for them all to get stuck in, should he lure them out, and he measures it in the direct path of when the lighthouse spotlight sweeps over the valley.
Oh! Okay, I like the idea. It's a pretty big group. I'm going to put the crafts challenge at a 3.
All right, I just roll a 4 immediately.
I mean, maybe. You take stock of the ground among you, and you see that there are plenty of narrow channels and kind of rocks that you could lead them around.
Okay, yeah, I am. First, I'd like to roll a stealth to create advantage to perform this in secret.
Okay. Group of them, I'm going to set the stealth challenge at a 2.
Oh my fucking god. I'm not letting it get away
Currently,
with this. I'm going to fate point
yeah.
Phantom of the Red Tide to. I mean, a boost would be generally enough. I'm just so mad.
Yeah.
I'll leave it for now. I'll keep my pride. And
Okay,
I'd
so
also like
boost.
to roll and investigate to, yes, one boost of quiet construction, and then an investigate to search the area for, since this exists in a shaded valley, there should at least be something, given the overall heat of the island, probably very dry, what used to be crops that were healthy, so I'm looking for kindling.
Yeah, no problem. Challenge of... It's a bit far away from town. Let's put a challenge of 1. Okay. Yeah, kindling is available. So silent construction and 2 on kindling.
Okay. So he's just very slowly, methodically going about this.
Okay.
He sets up a big corral. The rope is laced several times around these hooks, which he's buried deep and is just using various wooden stakes that were fencing and such from the area to bolster it. And once he's done, he tests it, sees that his stealthiness boost is wearing out as they are looking through like cracks in the woodwork.
Yeah, starting to move out onto the shore.
And is going to apply everything to the crafts.
Okay, successful style. That's going to give you 3 turns to investigate. As what happens?
I guess I just described the process.
Yep. Okay,
He
perfect.
He does that thing that I described.
Yep. In that case, their eyes kind of turn to you, finally making yourself apparent. They will charge forward, seeing you as a potential threat and a assailant on their territory. They will climb forward, and you will duck behind the rocks. And there will be a series of quick movements and sounds as ropes snap tight, and Crow, you emerge on the other side, leaving all 12 currently behind you. And the kind of empty storehouse in front. Which gives you 3 full actions to try and find the specific tools you're looking for. The investigate challenge is a 3 currently.
All right.
So you have 3 actions.
All right. He's gonna go inside. Going to use 1 action to try to create an athletics advantage by moving fastly,
Cool. Challenge of 2.
like a supermarket sweep.
Yep. Okay, 2 uses. Light on your feet.
1 free invocation. Fuck you.
Okay. Last action.
Last
You
action,
keep
second
that.
free invocation. All right.
There we go. Okay. Man, this is perfect. There is a
I
shot.
hit that joint like a supermarket sweep as I just scatter everything onto the floor.
Yeah, and I think you do it even more so when you hear the first ropes beginning to snap outside and the kind of wailing of the prawn as they realize what's happened. And Crow, this storehouse is a fucking disaster. They seem to have made it their nest as you kind of clamber, looking low and high for the climbing equipment that you've been looking for. And not to belabor any points as well, I will say that there is a, what's it called? A pump as well. And you could take that with you. You would just have to roll against 1 fight roll at a 4 if you wanted to take that.
I think he was there for that conversation. He'll pick that up.
Okay. In that case, taking the ropes, the slings, the bandoliers, and finally the pump, you kind of sling all of this over shoulder just in time to see the first group of prawn erupt into the scene, kind of angling their claws outwards toward you, and just a single 4 fight. Nice. Very good.
I do a single standing leap clean over them, and I sail overhead.
Yeah, they're kind of these whiskers that run off their face kind of search for you. You see them brush against your leg, but you completely clear them and begin running in the opposite direction. And they follow for a good measure. You can hear the sculling of their feet kicking the rocks. Kind of, there's a shot of you running against the smoke and them close behind. And then eventually you look over your shoulders and they are no longer following, and it's just you in that kind of white expanse.
Yeah, I jog away with my stolen goods.
Which is going to make every single rock climbing challenge in this area 2 less difficult. It'll reduce the difficulty by 2 for all rock climbing challenges for everyone in this team. As Crow, you emerge back into Morton.
Yeah, Crow walks back in the second that guy finishes telling Rakote where the things that they need are.
Yeah, yes. He ought to show you the way, he says, nodding towards Crow.
What?
He's looking for the storehouse. Some things that might be able to help you.
He looks down and he has an armful of materials.
Yeah, maybe some things like that. He'll just kind of nod, looking down at this man, clearly impressed with your resourcefulness.
Yes.
Sailor looks like he can handle some prawn, he'll say, looking to you, Rakote, kind of admiring your crew.
Yeah, Rakote will look after seeing the pump has already been achieved, and knowing that they have a very limited time here. Ooh. He's going to put his hand on the guy's shoulder, and he'll say,
We could rout the prawn from this village, and by sunset it would be filled twice over as the sea emptied itself out onto the land.
he's going to look over in Rostovan's direction and say,
We're here to solve the root of the problem, not stem the symptoms of it. I'm sorry, my friend. We cannot stop now.
He will kind of nod grimly, looking back south, and say, "How long should we give you?"
he'll say,
2 days, 3 if we're unlucky.
He will kind of nod slowly and say, "You can get that, obviously. But just as clearly, we're not going to wait and let a good boat sink. 5th day, 6th day, whatever I reckon, we're going to climb back on that ship and we're getting out of here."
I want to try to see if he intends to do it sooner than that.
Okay.
Empathy challenge of...
I'm not telling you.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, sorry, deceive and shit. No, you don't get to know that.
That's alright, that's fine. I mean, I'm happy with hearing
Tell the
five,
truth.
five jump up and click my heels together and say, wowee.
Yeah. You can see that this man is very tired.
Yeah,
But he just says, "Few days, whatever you need after that."
yep.
It's not just me, he'll say. There are others to consider. People a little less patient.
Rakote he'll nod in understanding.
There's you can see Crow's eyes are wide behind his shaded spectacles.
And he will just kind of, again, swallow dryly and say, "With any luck, I'll see you again."
I'm gonna compel thou art predator or prey.
Okay.
Hit this man to the ground.
Whoa! Okay. Yes, fully. He will be fucking buckled over, and he will take a moderate consequence.
Steal ship. All of thee will die. Do not care if it is 10 days or 30.
Yeah, he will begin coughing, but then with kind of a wheeze just say, "It's never gonna happen. I'll stop him. If it comes to that, it won't. We're just scared."
Greater things to be scared of.
I can tell.
And then he,
Hell.
having fully leant over the man, ready to pummel him into a shallow garden grave, will step back at their word. And,
Yeah, take your fate point.
oh yes, and snap his head to Rakote.
Yeah. The brittle man will begin standing up very
Yeah.
shakily.
Moments like this, I don't know how perceptive that Crow is, but not wanting to entirely shit on the man, but actually quite pleased with that turn of events. He's going to reach his hand out for the pump.
Jam it into his hand.
Yeah, he'll take it and he'll say,
I need to return this to the ship. You all need not wait for me. And he'll say, I can find my way to, what is it called?
Roan.
You're not very far away from the ship. It wouldn't take you long to run it down.
Oh, okay. Well, he will then.
Okay.
And just very briefly, as he does he's going to leave the pump in the care of Davies to deliver to
Yeah.
the machinist, the engineer. But he is going to give him a directive that is uh,
There is unrest in the village, understandably so, but I worry what fear might motivate them to do. Allow no one passage onto the vessel. And he'll say, I want the cannon boys to be prepared to fire at the shore should a crowd gather. Let them know who the Anaphyli belongs to.
Yeah, you will see Robert Davies' face just kind of like go a bit pale, but nod, taking your orders. And kind of considering for a moment, he will say, Sir, perhaps we could break from the shore. Thought they'd swim across the boiling water.
Ah, brilliant. Yes.
But
Yes.
the cannons will be readied at your order. Perhaps they have some small skiffs.
Thank you, First Mate.
Of course, sir. We await your return.
yeah, he'll dismiss him and then he'll hobble after his other folks.
Perfect. Rastavan, what have you been up to?
Still talking to the kid.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, the Chase will be kind of petting the top of Fisher's head, and then realizing it's slimy, just kind of like wipe it on his pant leg when he looks up to you.
He'll say, so how rough going is the mountain range north of Rhone?
He will just say, "I'm a shepherd's son, and even I had a hard time of it. You need to watch your feet, but it's better than the valley. No one comes back from the valley." There kind of be a darkness in his eyes.
What's it worth it to you if you were to lead us to Rhone yourself?
He will kind of look up and say, "If you can stop the Dawn Machine, I do it for free. This is my home. These are my families. But I have to know that you can do it."
Yeah, I can.
"Then I'm coming with you." And he'll
All right.
stand up. And he will give you a +1 to everyone trying to traverse any of the mountains.
I want you to know something, kid.
He'll wait for you.
If you die, or are seriously injured and are found in a way that we can't bring you back without putting any of us in mortal danger, we're not going to.
That's okay. I was about to say the same thing.
I mean, I can't speak for the other people I'm with, but I'm not going to. I have a mission.
Well, so do I. And he'll just say a little bit more defiantly. "Stop talking like I'm already dead. I'm not. You need my help."
It's true. All right, well, as long as you keep that attitude, lead on then.
Fucking love Rostavan, yeah. All right.
Cool.
He's so fucking good. Yeah, Chase, kind of emboldened by your talk and not wanting to look back, will leave. And kind of look out as Grant Farrow, who is very close or very recently been laying low, will come stumbling in looking for medical attention.
He's just still face down in a puddle. No one's helping him.
Yeah.
They're all afraid too.
Rosvan will start to leave out the hut, and then he'll turn in the doorway, and he'll say, "Pale lady, we gotta move."
She'll, having just rubbed ointment on someone's hands, maybe even amassing a small crowd, she'll lift her head and diligently rise to her feet.
Perfect. Okay. In that case, you all emerge back into the daylight, and it's never ending. There's only just moments where the light seems even more brutal above, and the sky is kind of bleached blue and white by this piercing gaze of the dawn machine. Um, but Chase begins kind of heading south along the path here, or the line here. And looking over his shoulders to you, Rastavan, he will say, there's just a tiny bit of the valley that we have to get through. That's where I got this. And he'll kind of hold up his hand. We're a bit further back, so it's not as bad. But we still need to move quick.
All right, then. Everyone else, you guys might want to find something to shield yourselves, or at least your eyes.
Never look at it, says Chase.
Crow looks back through dope shaded spectacles that no one else has.
It'll be the last thing you look at. And he will just kind of move forward. And we are heading to break. I want there to be kind of like the scene here as you guys cross over to what is the last kind of barrier between you and shelter, the shelter of the mountains. Yeah, kind of at the foot of this. And as you look out, you can tell that the grass is nothing but ash. There were pathways and homes and carts all here, but they are gone now. Instead, it is just sallow dirt that is continuously roasted. The burning smell kind of wafts up to you. And just as quickly as it is kind of dissipating, it is renewed again by the blazing white eye of the dawn machine passing overhead. And Chase just kind of glares forward and points, and you see at the other end of this vast canyon is the mountains that will take you safely to Roan. And we will pick up from there after break.
See at
Awesome.
the other end a devious young miscreant holding a mirror. He's here to torture anyone trying to get to the mountains.